this story is about it's never too late to do anything. So that's what my mother was all about. It's never too late.
I never worked on a film where in 6 days you shoot an entire 1 hour film.
Hey guys, welcome to Round the Clock. I am Zainam, your host, and right now we are going to be diving into a conversation to a sequel, I would say, to a very interesting form of storytelling. It's a disruptive form of storytelling.
Yeah. So before I'm trying to get the writers in also because so the thing is it is a challenge because in a 2 hours we can establish backstories, we can create characters and tell their individual stories, establish them properly, But here, what is also challenging at the same time is advantage in a 1 hour film is you discover the characters as the film goes forward. You don't have the luxury of establishing everybody separately and then their intent and then their motivation comes through over the film. Here, while they're moving forward, the story is moving forward, the motivations are happening, the intents are intent, and who they are all coming in unfolding as the story is going forward, or the narrative is going forward with. And that is where fantastic actors are required to give those nuances of information, like for example, or even visual layering. Like for example, in one scene, in the house, Ankit comes in and this Kitty's character is sitting there, and behind her is a bag, and it's written the Lucky Motor Training School. So immediately you know that that character, Hassan's character, had a motor training schools at some point in time, and in the conversation he says wo to band ho gaya. So in one scene I'm giving his backdrop. So those are the elements, those are the layers that you have to have, and that is beautiful. In that time you have to have three or four information coming, hitting the audience, but not overwhelming them at the same time. So like for example, small things like Sakina opens a cupboard and you see small boxes with gifts wrapped, not opened. Later she reveals that no, I'm superstitious. My first I had an issue with my first pregnancy. This time it's like I'm just superstitious. I don't want to take any presents, or I don't want to open any presents. I've kept it there. Only when my child comes in, I'll open them. So these are small things, the backstories. So what is nice is all three of them are dealing with grief and sorrow in their own way. Kituji's character is dealing with a sense of loss of her family. Or I don't know. There's a spoiler there, so I don't want to give it away. And Sakina is dealing with her unsuccessful pregnancy. Ankit is dealing with an unsuccessful life, and he's struggling to. He wants his family to do. He wants to take care of his family, and he's struggling for that. So there is this grief and sorrow inside him. So everyone is dealing with their own space, and they're all together, but they're extremely lonely because each one is putting up a brave front for the other. The Sakina is putting up a brave front. There's a one beautiful scene which Bhavna just cracked it in one shot, I think. That he's going away, she smiles and bye, and this, as soon as he leaves, she just touches her stomach, her baby, and her expression changes. Total fear, worry, and grief. I mean, that was and see, now in that one scene, I'm telling her story. I'm telling her entire life story. What has happened? So what I'm trying to say is that all three characters are dealing with grief and loneliness in their own way, and they are dealing with that huge uh, atlas out of the world of grief and loneliness on their shoulders. But at the same time, they are putting up brave front for each other, so that the other person is it doesn't be, his personal issues don't become a burden on the other person. So that is beautiful, the relationships of all three, and in the end they all open up and they all become children, and they become close, they become kindred souls. So that's the whole.
And I actually love that every part of every aspect of these films are conversating with each other. Like the direction is conversating with the writing is also conversating with the costume is conversating with the visual language. So now my next question is, about the visual style of the film. How did you approach that? I heard it's being shot on an iPhone, and considering the current scenario, I think that is a big statement to make. So how did you approach the visual style of it?
See, the we wanted this film was in fact more difficult to shoot than the earlier film, which was the Radio Can. Radio Can was pretty in a controlled situation. It was a more difficult film in terms of production because there are a lot of outdoor shots. There are a lot of we had to do car rigging with the car. A lot of the drama and the stories unfolding inside the car. The car itself is a character, and also there is a lot of street shots. You know how India is shoot pura tamjam leke aayenge, so everybody starts staring, and so I wanted to shoot it in a docu style in a way. So and where I'm not there's minimum setup, and we are catching the location as it is, and the characters are part of the location as if it's so. iPhone there helped immensely because if the police comes or some guy क्या चल रहा है फोटो पारो ना क्या थी शूटिंग कहाँ आ रहा है कौन सा थी all those questions are gone because हम लोग रील बना रहे हैं रील इंस्टा के लिए हम लोग रील बना रहे हैं तो रील के लिए हाँ but at the same time we had rigs, we had car rigs and all, but and we had lights and everything, the works, but the cameras are small. Another thing is I could because we are shooting in 6 days, we have different points of views for cuts, the close-ups and wide shots. So I could place the camera all together in different angles, and in one sequence of performance, I could capture all the three angles together. That really helped us to save time and resources. So basically, necessity is the mother of invention. So that's what happened here. And but before that, Onkar and I did a lot of tests because I was not completely sure whether how will iPhone will it survive the projection on a big screen. It's all fine on your laptop, on your phone. So we did a lot of tests. We projected it. We saw the results. And what is interesting is there are a lot of issues with the iPhone as opposed to a conventional phone. There's a little less control in the conventional camera lenses. There's immense control here. Why? Because like for example, focus. So in the night you have a small screen. You don't know where the camera is. And the camera itself has a mind of its own. Because algorithmic. It'll look for the brightest spot and focus there. So there was a point where one car was sitting there blind. There's one shadow of Ankit, and they are talking, and he's tapping on Ankit. And when Bhavna started, he's tapping on Bhavna. Tak, tak, tak. Focus. But sometimes focus goes and comes, and I embrace that. Like there was a shot of Bhavna on a swing, and the focus is on the wall, and she's little out of focus. When you project it, you see that, and it worked for the scene because she herself is gone. She's dreaming. And somehow, and by that time, you know her character and you know what she's thinking. The audience knows what she's thinking. So it worked for that so-called mistake actually worked for the scene. So things like that. So we did a lot of so iPhone. You have to embrace its textures and its impermanence and its volatility, and use it as part of the. It may not work for all stories. It may not work for intense mystery story or mystery where there's a lot of tech involved or something. But if you think iPhone as part of the writing and narration and the film, then you are like, for example, an anamorphic lens is extremely wide, and on the sides, it kind of the it's not focus. It's like the image kind of becomes a little. What do you call hazy, or it becomes more textured. The focus is actually in the center, so you have to constantly keep the character in the center. And then we use a closer lens, and we crop it to the anamorphic, and we cut it in, and it worked. Jump cuts worked beautifully in anamorphic. It doesn't jar. Whereas in conventional filmmaking, you have to have a match cut, or you have to change the angle for a cut. Whereas there was one scene where Kitty's character is sitting on the steps and he's talking, and I cut in the same angle, and it worked. I mean, because in terms of the action, so things like that. So it is very. I found it a new way of cinema of such, or cinema grammar. So iPhone gives you a certain grammar, and you have to just embrace that. As simple as that. And of course, the convenience of the whole thing, and also going into technicalities, iPhone gives you ProRes 4K, and ProRes 4K is the raw format which films use, and projection on theaters is 2K. So when you bring it down, it looks fabulous, just fabulous. Also, we used the ARRI plugin for which mimics the ARRI color balance and the the grayscale of ARRI. So that also worked very nicely. So we had a very good post house who was doing this called VC Studios.
Sorry, I have to take off
Something.
I have to switch my phone.
Okay.
Yeah. Rahul, quick, if you have something for Bhavna, you can quickly.
Watching all actors, and with means Vijay ji
No,
also,
it's fine.
like
We are
Indrajit,
cutting on the technical aspects only.
Yeah.
when it
Okay.
came
Okay.
to know
Okay.
about that you guys were doing on iPhone, so like all the actors also, like I have to ask Bhavna also, that what was your opinion with them? Ki, okay, if shooting in iPhone and it's been recording in iPhone, as actor, what was your mindset? And again, it goes to Vijay ji also, that how was you as a producer when you came to know, अरे ये iPhone में shoot करने वाले हैं, फिर इसको as a feature film ये लोग दिखाने वाले, so what was your thought? So Bhavna, you can go ahead with this, and then we can take forward.
If
Can
you're
I be
not
very
taking
honest? I'm discovering now that we were shooting on the iPhone because I don't care what we are shooting on. I have to do the same work. It's like थिएटर में हम बोलते हैं कि 5 लोग बैठे हो या 10 लोग बैठे हो या 5,000 लोग बैठे हो, परफॉर्मेंस तो सेम ही करनी है हमको. तो it doesn't matter what.
yeah.
And again, both Omkar and Indrajit sir had kept it very like organic. The environment was very organic. The frames were very organic. In fact, मुझे आसानी हुई. The movements, the focus, it was much easier than working with other cameras, in my opinion. So again, I don't know if it's the clarity and the pre-prod work that the team had put in, but for me, it was the same. No difference for shooting. No difference in shooting with an iPhone. So I will take your leave now. Sorry, because I have
Yeah.
to
Thank
stop.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Have a
much.
have a good flight.
Have a safe
Thank
journey.
you, and have a
See you
great
soon.
screening tomorrow. My best wishes. I'm there with you in spirit. Please miss me.
You're not there.
Yes,
And
of
talk
course.
about
No, he's not there. Yeah.
Oh, we'll miss
With you
you.
right
after
now
See you
the
also.
soon. See you soon. Take care.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye, sir.
Bye.
Your call when you came to know कि okay, I'm being a producer for an iPhone film, and when he gave you the idea that as a producer mind, how you, it's like it's very technical also कि नहीं यार iPhone में shoot करने फिर इसको as a feature film theater में दिखाना है, it's very technical, and as a producer it's come to your mind कि ठीक है इसको ऐसा means it's increase the costing also somewhere कि when you're shooting with iPhone where you have to edit and handle everything, change the resolution for the projector. So what was your mind for according to that?
See, firstly, one thing is very clear. When Indrajit is there, I don't have to think. 80% to 90% my job is done with Indrajit because, as mentioned by Kituji and other team, firstly, it's a teamwork. Second is you should know your job. Most important, if you see today is the filmmaking. People are making a film for 3 hours and 4 hours or something, and story, if you talk about the long format and short format, we work on a both. I personally from a short format, and making a short format is very easy, but long format go, if you make it in a 1 hour, 3 hours film, you're making in a 1 hour is a big challenge. And you're telling the whole story into this, number one. Number two, when Indrajit told us ki, we are shooting in iPhone. Firstly, it was a different reaction to me to Indrajit. He said, I will handle it. Then we have done a lot of R&D, and we have also gone through, you remember Indrajit came, we done a grading, we wanted to see how it looks.
Yeah.
Finally, we done a R&D and we did the film. It's tough, but it's the whole technical. If you understand the film in both way, one is storytelling, it's a one job. Another is a technically how you can make the film in a proper, and that's to a bigger screen. I think we have done technical check for three times, right, Indrajit? If I'm not
Three
wrong.
in the beginning, so we did many times on with grade, and
Yeah.
later we did, and Vijay gave me a proper DCP 2K projection theater. We saw the whole film, saw the whole film there, including the sound, and we all pointed out things, and then we corrected them also, because the entire dynamics changes when you see it on big screen. And
And
Shoot again,
firstly,
if there was a projection change, if there was a reshoot again.
no, it's
yeah,
not
that
a. Sorry, Indrajit, I cut you.
no,
Yeah, yeah.
no.
Go ahead.
Actually, thanks to Vijay's team, that technical aspect, a lot of things were taken care of. So we didn't have to take a reshoot for technical reasons, at all. And that was fantastic. I mean, and we couldn't afford to reshoot also. And also, if there is any issues or if there is any focus issue, I embrace that. Like I said, I used it as a treatment. So
So, as I mentioned that it's like teamwork number one. Technically, you should be have to understand if there is some glitch or there is something you need to correct in a proper way. And second thing is storytelling, the way you're telling the story for the, to hold any viewers for a 1 hour. It's like if I talk about 55 minutes to 60 minutes. And this films was internally when we check, it is really good. Technically, we have passed through everything, whatever. There was no, we have to reshoot or we have to do something. And the vision of a director needs to be understand better, which all the cast have done that. And like personally, I'm telling you, we are doing another project together, and the vision of a director has to be very clear. And I was just listening how the whole project is we are going to do, and the vision is very clear. We are looking what is our focus, how we going to do it, the plan, the concept. As P2G and other team said that if डायरेक्टर नो कि मुझे क्या शॉट लेना है the your half of the film is you know on. It's like no मुझे खाली retake लेना है, it's not. मुझे इतना ही shots लेना है, वही मुझे shots चाहिए. That is called, I'm not blaming anybody, not saying anything, but it is just you should know what is you want. That's more important. ला take 10 take लेने से film नहीं अच्छा हो जाता है. That's my point of view. Technically, I said that everything was in-house, so we don't have to run it out with any other people. Film making is in-house, our post is in-house, everything in-house. So it's a good venture onto this project.
So
Also,
one part is here. Yeah.
Can I say
Yes,
one
yes,
thing?
yeah.
This kind of proves, I think, and many films have proved it, that basically storytelling
Yeah.
should be the ultimate goal of a film. We are getting lost in special effects and CGI and big muscled men and women with Botox faces and strange action and silly dialogues which are superfluous. Actually, once your story is tight and you take the audience on, and at the end of the day, you have to arouse emotions in your audience. And so once you are a master storyteller, I think everything else comes secondary to it. You don't need fancy costumes and sets and CGI and all that, I think. And so that's my opinion. It's storytelling. Cinemas should
Yeah,
be
yeah.
about storytelling.
It's a
And
story.
it's also, I would say, it's about the risks we are willing to take to, get the cinema moving forward. Even, recent interviews, Anurag Kashyap ji as well mentioned he is moving to the south because Bollywood is trying to become the remake board currently. They are not willing to take the risks, and currently such risks are needed. Abhi, even we are just talking about the visual style, but right now the entire generation wants short and crisp content. And we are also doing 1 hour, we are giving a film, and we are doing it on an iPhone. So I believe I said disruptive formats, like not just disruptive, but 1 hour films and iPhone could be a game changer in the industry. Like so many films could come in. So, Omkar ji, you have shot this film, completely on an iPhone, and right now, if we see the even right now we have ProRes also in the iPhone, the current iPhone 16 Max versions. So, what do you think? Is iPhone changing the game? How do you think it will shape the cinema moving forward for us?
Yeah, so even on 15 also we had in ProRes. So we tested it, and the kind of quality that Apple is providing in that package, it's outstanding. They're giving you 10-bit raw files with a very good amount of color latitude details. So it's actually a good game changer because when we were researching in back and forth, anyways we got additional lenses, but we also got something as a mount which was a mount where we can plug in the extra lenses as well. So it's a good format, like where an independent storyteller has a good medium of saying his story in a good quality.
Yeah, and also I would like to say is like taking Kituji's statement of story, and story being the narrative being the most important thing in the film. If you have a very strong story, you have to also pick the right tool for that particular. Hi, Samir, welcome.
Hi, sir.
Yeah,
Hi. Good morning.
yeah. So if you have to write, suppose you have a canvas and you want to express, you want to do a painting or any kind of create an image. To express that, you have to pick the right tool also, for
Correct.
that particular thing. So they can't be. What is happening is everything is being standardized. So हम लोगों को ये film whether you shooting a like an emotional romantic story or an action story, the techniques, the makeup, the sets, all have been standardized, which is not the way to do it. So, and especially now, and I'm from old school, from 1990s, 90. I'm a 90s kid, and so I've seen the entire transition from Betamax to 35 to 16 to Bolex to 8 and now digital. Now we have so many tools to
Yeah.
pick from. The thing is not to get intimidated by your medium. Medium is not the message. First, figure out your message and pick the right medium. Whether you want to use the pencil or you want to use the brush or you want to use whatever watercolor, but it has to be correct. You can't have you can't do a watercolor painting for a post deconstruction of Russian socialism. There you need acrylics. You need a strong medium. So it's like that. So that is what the problem is today. People are not, the tools and the story are not fitting together, and there's so much of algorithms happening, and so much of marketing happening, which is dictating. Casting is done by Instagram followers. Can you imagine? When I work with I worked with 2-3 studios. I want a particular actor. अरे उसका Instagram में तो सिर्फ इतना ही है, million भी नहीं है followers. Let us go with somebody else who has got 10 million followers.
I think that was the one criticism, Soumya even mentioned for Radio Kent. That was something they were trying to criticize to the audience back.
So basically, find the right tool for your story. That's all. Not the other way around. You have a tool and then you find a story.
And since
And
Samir
okay,
ji,
so Samir ji is there. Samir is there, and I
yeah.
wanted him to come because this is a it was a very difficult story and script to write. So you can
Hmm.
ask him for his insight.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. So, my question for Samir ji is, Ke, this film was like, a long format film written in 1 hour, and 1 hour ke andar we have to tell everything that is happening with the character. As Indrajit ji mentioned, he had a background written very really well, where the gift angle shows Sakina's character, and the driving school board shows Ankit ji's character. And since he also mentioned that the story, like it was it was written keeping an iPhone and such a gear in mind. So how was
Yeah.
your approach writing the entire thing, like writing it for 1 hour, having a tool in mind? Get this tool, it will be short on, so I have to write it likewise. So what was your
No,
approach
no.
of the entire thing?
Sorry to interrupt. I did not reveal that to Samir in the beginning. You know, because that is something
Oh,
which I had it in my mind, and I was, but Samir wasn't writing it for iPhone. Exactly what Kitiji was saying and what I was saying. He was just
oh,
Medium.
approach.
Yeah.
He was just approaching the story. Whether
medium, right?
Yeah.
he did not care whether iPhone से कर रहा है या 35 से कर रहा है या chopper से कर रहा है या GoPro. That is
Actually,
that is why it is working out very well now, and I know that I'm going to shoot it like that. So then I advise, or I collaborate with him without he didn't he didn't know till the end, right, Samir?
Yeah, I did. So I think first off, I mean, I think what really helps is the fact, like sir said, that you focus on your story. आजकल वही हो रहा है कि पैकेजिंग फर्स्ट हम जा रहे हैं, तो पहले हम सोचते हैं कि माउंटिंग क्या होगा, प्रोजेक्ट हम बोलते हैं, फिल्म तो कम ही लोग बोल रहे हैं, है ना? तो हम आजकल एवरीथिंग इज अप्रोच्ड एज अ प्रोजेक्ट. So when when we were discussing this story also, so the one thing was clear कि इसका length क्या होगा. We are not making a feature film out of this. So which is why we went for tools which were very clear कि, small things convey the messages and write it intelligently and trust the audience to understand certain things. And sir comes from advertising. I come from both world. I still write ads also and I write feature films also. So that less is more has been ingrained if you do ads, because 30 seconds में आप कहानी सुना रहे हो, मैसेज कर रहे हो, माल बेच रहे हो, everything is being conveyed. So that is where the articulation kind of comes from. So certain tools कि हर चीज को बताने के लिए dialogue और setup नहीं चाहिए. Smaller things
Hmm.
can convey things quicker. There's this whole idea of even having that character pregnant. तो को हम कैसे यूज कर सकते हैं आगे, और उसको, so we don't need to establish a lot. So it's like story चल रही है, you're joining these characters midway. We are not setting up the world as such. It's like you're joining the story midway, and that's also something, that's the kind of storytelling I really like, and which is a certain really resonated on this. It's not कि हाँ अभी ना point A, now point B, now point C. When you meet somebody in real life also, you just happen to start a conversation and you are in different stages in life. That's how I always look at characters. Because people were not born right now because you switched on the television or went to the theater right now. So वो लाइफ एक चल रही है, आप उनको इस पॉइंट पे मिले हो, यहाँ से जो कहानी जहां तक जाएगी, किट्टू जी जहां तक लेकर जा रहे हैं उस कैरेक्टर को, ओके दिस वुमन विल लर्न टू ड्राइव in an era, in this generation of, I mean, these times that we live in, जहाँ पर फेमिनिज्म और ये ऐसा टोकनिज्म बनकर रह गया है. These words are just thrown around, like brands are throwing words at you, like literally just throwing words at you कि भाई इसमें ये होना चाहिए, ये होना चाहिए. उस दौर में एक कहानी जिसमें हम कहीं वर्ड भी नहीं यूज कर रहे हैं, आई थिंक इट्स अ वेरी पावरफुल फेमिनिस्ट टेल without using the word of empowerment or this and that, nothing. About a woman trying to learn how to drive, and for her own reasons, which are very, very personal and emotional. She is not saying मैं दुनिया जीत लूंगी जाके. So that was very clear that we are telling a story. So like sir was saying earlier, कि मैसेज क्लियर है, स्टोरी क्लियर है, मीडियम के ऊपर मत जाओ, कहानी क्या है वो बहुत क्लियर था. एंड देन हाउ द एग्जीक्यूशन हैपेंस, how that collaboration happens, how everybody brings in their skill sets, their talents, their crafts on board is the journey. That was the most beautiful part for us.
And also, we are running short on time. So, my one last question is that since it is six-part film series, is there anything you can tell us about the upcoming, what comes after Madam Driver?
Yeah, it is if all goes well, we'll be doing a revenge story but I
Oh,
can't
awesome.
reveal too much about it. Yeah. So now I want to do
Awesome, awesome.
action. Yeah. And where every where
I'm
a
excited.
where a woman kills everybody. Everybody is killed. Yeah.
Oh, that would be interesting to watch, currently. Also, all like that. So this is the time is up currently, so I'll have to end it. Thank you guys so much for being here. It was an amazing conversation. We went all the amazing roads, as we could in this conversation. And I cannot wait for the audience to react to the film and the film to go places. So all the very best. See you guys soon.
Thank you,
And
Zena.
thank you to
Thank
Also,
you.
Reborn.
thank you all of you
Thank you,
for
Reborn
Reborn
making
also.
such a great film,
Yes,
and we are
thank you.
presenting that film. Indrajit and entire cast team, Vijay ji, all of you,
But
Kuku ji.
but
Thank you very much.
really special salute to Raymond to help us reach this. I mean, come on, yeah, because of these guys, people are. It's a ticketed show. Can you imagine one ticketed show
Yeah,
in the theaters, Baba? Not a
yeah,
private showing. So thank you,
yeah.
Rahul,
That's
so much,
commendable. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
and that's really a vision.